All right, we finished looking at what kind of graphics we can make for just one variable at a time. So when I have a categorical variable, I would do a bar plot. When I have a numeric variable, I would do a histogram, or I would do a box plot. And now with 2.10, we're looking at what to do if I have two numerical variables together and I want to be able to look at their relationship to one another. We're going to do this with a scatter plot. For the relationship between two numeric variables. We put one variable on the x-axis and the other on the y. So that's a little typo. That should be an E for the, there we go. And so in this case, we're looking at the gestational age of the baby, which means kind of how many weeks had it been growing basically when it was born, compared to the birth weight of the baby. All right. And so generally speaking, we see kind of this positive association that as one variable goes up, so does the other. And so I want you to pause and try to write a sentence description there of what's going on based on kind of the variables in the context of the problem. So you should have said something like a longer gestational age is associated with a higher birth weight. Okay, so nothing too surprising in that relationship, but a scatter plot is really, really useful for letting us visualize that relationship between two variables. And the R code, we can easily use the plot function to get this type of graph. So jumping over to the server, the first thing I'm doing in the scatter plot code here is resetting my plot to only do a grid of one plot at a time. So the box plots, I'd had two side by side. This is just setting it back to one row and one column. And then I have to extract the variables that I want to use from my King County data set. So I've got the gestational age and the birth weight, and then I'm plotting gestational age versus birth weight. Now R cares which order I put my variables here. So you'll see I list gest first, and let's see what happens when I do the plot. Oh, I forgot I don't have my labels in here correctly. And so we want, it's gestational age that's going on the x-axis. So we would call this gestational age. And the y label is the birth weight. And then we could give it some title like maybe observed data. Okay, so again, gestational age, some babies born even below 20 weeks, most around 40, and then some up above. And then the birth weight is recorded in grams, okay? So gestational age, that's the x variable. When you use the plot function, your variable that's gonna go on the horizontal axis needs to be listed first. And then your y variable is gonna be listed second in the plot. And that's the basics of how we create a scatter plot.